The first day without weed usually feels fine. You're determined, maybe even a little proud. Then day 2 comes, then day 3, and suddenly it's harder than you expected. Here's exactly why that happens and what's coming week by week. The reason the first day feels easy is simple. THC is still in your system, so withdrawal hasn't really started yet. But here's what was going on underneath the whole time you smoked. Your body makes its own cannabinoids. It has an entire system for them, the endocannabinoid system, and that system helps run your mood, your sleep, your appetite, and your stress. When you flood it with THC every single day, your brain does the logical thing. It dials down its own production and turns down its own receptors. Why make your own supply when there's a constant one coming in? So when you stop, the THC is gone overnight, but your own system is still running on low. That's the gap. For a few weeks, the thing that used to regulate your mood and your calm is underpowered, and you feel every bit of it. That isn't weakness, that's a nervous system recalibrating. What I'll walk you through is the 3 phases this follows, what's happening in your brain at each one, and why the other side is genuinely better than where you started. Because once you can see what's happening and why, the hard weeks stop feeling like something is wrong with you and start feeling like what they actually are: temporary. Let me start with the first week. The first phase is the release phase, roughly the first 5 days. And days 3 to 7 are usually the hardest. Here's the part almost nobody explains. Why day 3 and not day 1? THC is fat soluble. It gets stored in your fat cells and releases back into your blood slowly over days. So in a strange way, you taper yourself off for the first couple of days without even meaning to. By day 3, that stored supply runs low and the real withdrawal arrives. That's why it ramps up instead of hitting you immediately. Now the symptoms and what's behind each one. Sleep breaks first. THC suppresses your REM sleep, the dreaming stage, the entire time you use. When you stop, your brain doesn't just resume REM. It binges on it to catch up. That's the REM rebound, and it's why the dreams turn so vivid, sometimes disturbing. It peaks in week 1. Then come irritability and a short fuse, because your dopamine and serotonin are running at a deficit, and those are the systems that were quietly keeping your emotions level. Your appetite drops because weed was stimulating it through that same endocannabinoid system, and now that nudge is gone. And the anxiety that cannabis was muting becomes fully audible. For some people, that's the hardest part of the whole process. None of this means you're broken. Each symptom is a system that leaned on THC, now relearning how to run on its own. Here's what week 2 looks like. The second phase is resilience, roughly weeks 2 and 3. The sharp symptoms fade here, and most people expect to finally feel better. Instead, a lot of them hit the strangest part of all. Nothing feels like anything. Food is just food. Things you normally enjoy feel flat. Your motivation is low, and the world looks a little gray. That has a name. It's anhedonia, a reduced ability to feel pleasure, and it has a specific cause. When THC overstimulated your reward system every day, your brain protected itself by turning down its dopamine receptors. Fewer receptors means less signal. Now the THC is gone, and you're left with a reward system that's been dialed down and hasn't dialed back up yet. So normal pleasures just don't register the way they should. Think of it like a muscle that was in a cast. It didn't disappear, it weakened from not being used the normal way. Take the cast off and it's weak for a while, then it rebuilds. Your reward system is doing exactly that. This is the phase people quit at because it feels like a depression that won't lift. But it isn't depression, it's repair, and it's temporary. Knowing that difference is often what gets people through it. Your sleep is quietly improving here too, even if the dreams are still loud. By the end of week 4, most people notice their rest actually feels better. But there's a trap waiting in the next phase. The third phase is clarity, around weeks 3 to 7, and this is where it turns. Mental sharpness is one of the first things to come back. Memory, focus, finding your words, all of it gets clearer between weeks 4 and 8. And your emotional range returns, because weed flattens both the lows and the highs. So on the other side, things start to feel vivid again, including the good ones. But this is exactly where the trap sits. Somewhere in here, your brain offers you a deal. You've done so well, surely you can handle just one. Or, you'll only use on weekends from now on. Here's the biology of why that fails. Your receptors are still recalibrating. The system isn't healed yet, it's healing. One real dose slams the brakes on that process, and for most daily users, it leads right back to daily use within days. The concrete is still wet. One footprint, and you're starting the whole pour over again. That's also why the timing of how you judge all this matters. If you decide whether quitting was worth it during week 2, when everything feels flat, you're asking the question from the worst possible seat. Give it 6 to 7 weeks until the system is back online, and then decide. People who quit for good almost never make that call in the gray middle. They make it once the clarity is actually there. Here's the whole arc in one picture. So here's the map. Release, the first week, your body riding out the gap while THC clears and your own systems are still low. Resilience, weeks 2 and 3, the flat gray stretch while your reward system rebuilds. And clarity, weeks 3 to 7, where focus, mood, and emotional depth come back online. That's the same 3-phase structure we built our program around, because this is the part people get wrong on their own. They treat every phase the same when each one needs a different response. The first week is about supporting your body. The middle is about regulating your emotions and not trusting the gray. The last is about rebuilding the life that weed was filling in for. And the payoff is real. For most former daily users, by 2 to 3 months, the anxiety settles below where it was while smoking. The flatness lifts, and your head is clearer than it's been in years. If you want the full phase-by-phase plan, what to do and what to expect at each step, that's the Release, Resilience, and Clarity program at quit-smoking-weed.com. The link is in the description. And if this helped you understand what your brain is actually doing, send it to someone who's on day 3 right now and thinks something is wrong with them.